Good afternoon, Dearborn Heights residents. We're doing around town today. I'm sitting here with Mr. Hammoud with the Secretary of State. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So what do you do with the Secretary of State?
So my name is Bilal Hammoud. I am the Public Engagement Associate with the Michigan Department of State. I work on a lot of things that range from ID access, voter access, and a lot of public education. Right, and that's what we're going to be doing here today, hopefully, is educating the public on some of the state resources that they're entitled to. Because at the end of the day, the people need to have access directly to the resources they're entitled to, and part of my job is making sure we can connect residents with those resources.
Okay, so I know it's tough with COVID, trying to get an ID. I know I've had problems myself with the scheduling a few months in advance to get an appointment. So is there, what kind of advice do you give residents or people that want to get, like say, an ID or a driver's license?
Yeah, that's a great point. So one of the things that I absolutely love about this new system update that we had is that now the majority of our service, I'm talking 70, 80%, can be done online. That includes ID renewals, tab renewals, anything that has to do with your vehicle, and even most of the voting information that you could ask for. So when it comes to IDs, there are three main ways you can renew. One is online by visiting michigan.gov/SOS. The second way, my personal favorite, is by using the self-service stations that are located in Meijers and Kroger's across the state. In fact, the Kroger right on Ford Road has a self-service station. You'll recognize it because it's this big yellow machine. The best part is these have most of the services that you could ask for, including printing your tabs on the spot for your vehicle registration, getting an ID, a temporary one printed, and renewing it for the year that you need to renew. And you're able to do all of it in Arabic, Spanish, Bengali, Mandarin, Vietnamese, and more languages to come. So this is one of the most language accessible options for renewing your ID or vehicle tabs. One of my favorite parts is that this thing is available across the state and is as convenient as buying your groceries. And the third option is through mail. You may be familiar with these blue and red mailers that you're going to be receiving. One is for tab renewals and one is for ID renewals. Now, if you want to fill this out, it's the most cost-effective way to renew your ID. Not only are you let known in advance by 45 days, you're also able to do it for just the cost of a stamp. So you don't even have to go into a branch. Mr. Mayor, one of the best parts about some of the new updates that have happened with our system is because it's a more secure process now more than ever, and the internal parts are talking to each other. I won't get bogged down in the details, but now it means that you only have to renew your ID once every 12 years. And when I say renew once every 12 years, I mean getting a new photo taken. So you can stay sharp and spiffy for 12 years before you have to take a new photo, which means that you really don't have to go into a branch for those 12 years, as long as you're not trying to transfer a title or take a test. So it's really convenient now more than ever.
Well, especially if I have the same haircut, for 12 years, I don't have to worry about taking a new picture.
It's a fresh cut, no doubt.
So I know my mom actually, just recently, she wanted to renew her, she has a disability, she's a senior citizen, and she wanted to get a tab, for her vehicle. What's the process trying to get, handicap access tabs or placard?
That's a great question. So if you're trying to get a disability placard card, whether it's the one on the plate itself, which is permanent, or the temporary one, the blue and red ones that you hang in your windshield, you can do that by going online. Yeah, it's kind of cool. You can actually ask your doctor to submit a form to the Secretary of State so that you don't actually have to enter a branch to apply for or renew your placard. If you have any questions at all, I ask that you email secretary@michigan.gov and we can guide you through this process. If you do decide you want to enter a branch, you can. And one of the best parts is, if you need a disability placard or anything disability placard related taken care of, we'll take care of you on the spot. Again, we're strong believers at the Department of State that you need to have access to the resources when you need them. So something like a disability placard is sometimes an emergency service for a lot of people. So if you need any of those services taken care of, come into a branch and we'll take care of you. Don't worry about scheduling an appointment. We'll help you out and make sure that you're taken care of. And at the worst case, we're able to schedule a next day appointment so you can come back in and get all those services taken care of. It's more convenient now than ever.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So I know you and I talked a few days ago about doing an event this Saturday here at this library. Would you like to talk about it?
Yeah. So one of the best parts of being a Dearborn Heights resident, a lifelong Dearborn Heights resident, is that we have so many city services dedicated to senior citizens. So we decided to host one of our senior citizens workshops that focuses on not only Secretary of State resources, but also focus on the senior services that exist at the fire department through our various nonprofits and organizations that exist and through our city, and have it all hosted here at the Caroline Kennedy Library this Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. We'll have resources tabling throughout the entire day and make sure that you have access to one-on-one support with someone from our office, whether it's for scheduling an appointment, registering to vote, or something else in between. We want to make sure that you're taken care of, so view this Saturday as your one-stop shop for all things Secretary of State service related.
So we talked earlier about veterans or senior citizens benefits, incentive with the Secretary of State. Would you like to talk a little bit about that? What incentive the Secretary of State offers, veterans and senior citizens?
Yeah. So our most valuable citizens, those who have served and those who have given to this community their entire lives, have perks at the Secretary of State. If you are above the age of 65, or you served, or if you're going through rough times and are housing insecure, you don't have a home at the moment, you are entitled to free ID. You can look this up online and we'll make sure it's included here for your convenience, but make sure that the person who is taking care of you at the Secretary of State knows that your age is this or you served, and you'll be entitled to that free ID. If you have any questions or need any support along this process, again, we want to make it as convenient as possible. So email secretary@michigan.gov and we'll help you out.
So I know in November we have the general elections. Would you like to share some information for our folks in Dearborn Heights about voting? Where to register, how to register, things like that.
Yeah. So I joined the Secretary of State's office about 2 years ago, and about a year in, I was appointed to chair the Language Access Task Force. This task force focuses initiatives on making our elections more accessible than ever. Not only our state ID services and our vehicle services, but elections, the process that every citizen is entitled to. So when we're talking about engaging on a level that is fundamental to being a citizen of this country, elections is that step. And now, since 2018, Michigan elections have gone from one of the least accessible to one of the most. That means you can register to vote on the same day as the election. You can apply for an absentee ballot with no reason. You can vote up to 40 days in advance at the clerk's office, and so many more. If you want to track your absentee ballot, if you want to apply for an absentee ballot and continuously get an application for your absentee ballot in the mail every single election, you can. It's this little checkbox, but once you check it, you can be more and more active and vote in every election. As the mayor said, we have a primary or a general election happening this November, and it's going to be your opportunity to make your voice heard. So, as I always say, and as I'm a firm believer in, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So make sure you participate in these elections and make your voice heard, so that we can make sure that we have leadership that we believe in at every level of government. So make sure to get involved, and if you're not already, register to vote at michigan.gov/vote.
Thank you, Mr. Hammoud. We appreciate you being here today with us in Dearborn Heights. It's a very informative session for our citizens in Dearborn Heights. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. And thank you, Dearborn Heights residents, for joining us today. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you for having me.